Is it ethical to climb Mount Everest? Every year, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people that pay a lot of money to climbing companies to help them reach the top of Mount Everest. But with all the trash, not counting the dead bodies littered all over the mountain, the financial amount needed, and the somewhat disregard of the Nepalese people that they hire to help them climb the peak, is it really ethical to climb Mount Everest? English mountaineer George Mallory, who participated in the first three British expeditions to Everest in the 1920s, famously stated that he wanted to climb Everest because it's there. In those days, climbing the 8,848-meter high mountain was even more of a major undertaking than it is now, with less logistical support or high-tech equipment available. It wasn't until 1953 that New Zealander Edmund Hillary and Sherpa guide Tenzing Norgay successfully made it to the summit as part of a British expedition. According to statistics, more than 400 climbers have summited the mountain since Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay made their first successful attempt. More than 1,000 climbers make the attempt each year, and it's getting a lot easier now. A short flight from Kathmandu to Lukla and then several days trek to the Khumbu region to Everest Base Camp. Everest can also be climbed from the Tibet side as the mountain straddles both Nepal and Tibet, but this is less common and logistically more challenging. In 2017, 6 people died on the mountain, which is not an unusual number. Some years the number of deaths are much higher of both climber clients and Nepali guides. Everybody knows that mountaineering is very dangerous, and people who climb mountains should be cognizant of this fact. Based on the death ratio of Mount Everest, it is only the 9th most dangerous mountain in the world. The most dangerous ones are Annapurna in Nepal, K2 and Nanga Parbat in Pakistan. But what makes Everest really dangerous is that it attracts non-professional mountain climbers, people who are not experienced enough to climb the mountain, and that creates a lot of trouble. Each season, more than 1,000 climbers try their luck on the mountain, and less of half of them make it. So this creates a lot of traffic up the mountain, and that means more risk of accidents. What is worrying is that if you have enough money, you can buy your way up the mountain. Climbing Everest is expensive. Not only do foreign climbers need to purchase an 11,000 permit from the Nepali government, they are also required to join an expedition with an experienced climbing outfitter. The total cost of climbing Everest can range from $30,000 to more than $100,000. In a country which the average income is around $700 per year, the amount of money required to climb Everest is extraordinary. How much of this actually goes to the Nepali people involved in the expeditions? The Nepal government has stated that most Sherpas earn around $6,000 per expedition, while camp cooks can earn around $2,500 and lead guides more like $10,000. But nearly half of the people who have died on Everest have been Nepali guides. In the 2014 climbing season, 16 Nepali guides were killed in an avalanche, which until the following year was the deadliest single day on the mountain. In 2015, 21 people died in an avalanche at Everest Base Camp that was triggered by the major earthquake centered in the Gorkha district. The Nepali guides and rescue people are required to help climbers that get themselves in trouble, often risking their own lives in the process. The usual Sherpa gets up to 30 climbs per season, and they are mostly at night to lay the route that their clients will use to make it as easy for them as possible. What they do is really hard and really dangerous, and they don't get the proper acknowledgement as their Western clients. Tenzing Norgay, who accompanied Hillary in 1953, was not knighted as Hillary was, and in the 2015 film Everest, the Sherpas play only a background bit part. Nepal and Mount Everest is very beautiful, but one of the problems of the country and the mountain is the amount of trash it has. A lot of people envision Mount Everest as this pristine mountain glistening in snow and crisp cold air, but this is far from the truth. Everest has been dubbed the world's largest trash dump. Tons of food packaging, old equipment, oxygen canisters, tents and camping gear, eating utensils and human waste litters base camp and the slopes. Since 2014, climbing expeditions have been fined if they don't bring enough trash back out with them on the return trip. Now they're being asked to remove more of it using canvas bags left at camps. But the material trash left behind the expedition is not the only problem. It's estimated that around 200 dead bodies remain on Everest, too difficult to remove in many cases. Because of the extreme cold, bodies freeze rather than decompose. Some of these bodies lie in plain sight of other climbers, a reminder of how dangerous the endeavor can be. Alternatives to climbing Mount Everest. Mount Everest is not the only tourist attraction of Nepal. There are a lot of travel and adventure tours you can do in the country without the risk of death or serious injury. You can go trekking, rafting, kayaking, wildlife spotting, and many more. Plus, if you go to these places, you are supporting the local economy directly. Alternatively, there are numerous other peaks in Nepal that can be climbed for much less money. Nepal has opened 414 of its 1,300 plus peaks for commercial climbing. If the thrill of climbing a mountain in the Himalayas and experiencing the wonderful views is the aim, there are many other great options such as the relatively easy Island Peak, Parkarmo, or Huyonchuli, or the more strenuous Manaslu, Pumori, or Amadablam, among many others. Local guides on these mountains also benefit from the job without the same risk. Plus, climbing Everest is far from the only way to see the mountain. The popular Everest Base Trek Camp is challenging and extremely worthwhile. Plus, from Kathmandu, you can take scenic flights for a view of Everest and her companions. At the end of 2017, the government of Nepal introduced a number of new measures ostensibly to improve the safety of climbing Everest. Foreign climbers will no longer be allowed to tackle Everest solo. Blind and double amputee climbers will no longer be allowed to climb, and the medical certificates of prospective climbers will be thoroughly checked to ensure their fitness. With all the risks and problems associated with climbing the world's highest mountain, it might be time to rethink Mallory's famous adage, "Just because you can climb Mount Everest doesn't mean you should." For more great videos, please like and subscribe to our channel.